1-0.
That's a really nice drop. Just the penetration, you can get that quickly and still control the ball. I mean, it looks like an easy shot. That is not an easy shot.
2-0. Side out.
Gabe's favorite pattern is to take that backhand cross court, whether it's a drop or a drive, to set up the down the line or the forehand on the next one. So look for him to go to that pattern a lot.
He will be feeding the Garnett two-handed backhand, so that'll be interesting to see what he chooses. That's just wide.
2-0. Point.
More returns flying on these players early on. So let's blame the ball. Let's spin it. You know, let's find something to point
3-0
to. You can just point to the altitude. Nice little touch volley there. My goodness. I mean, for Joseph not to be able to track it down, that's something else.
Yeah, he's got a good pair of wheels. I would put him right up there, pretty much second to none as far as court coverage in singles. He moves very well.
0-3. Side out.
That's Garnett's favorite there. Drive the backhand, close, drive the backhand again.
3-0. Side out. Zero, 3. Point.
And Garnett gets on the board.
One, 3. Point.
Wow, that returns off the line and beat clean.
Yes, definitely not easy to get a clean passing shot winner falling backwards off your back foot on that.
2-3. Side out.
That's quality pickleball right there on both sides. So when you play a guy that moves as well as Gabe Joseph, how do you use that against him?
I would return a lot middle forehand, since he likes that backhand so much. So don't let him use his speed and open up the fourth angle. So return like that, well, that would be a good return against a lot of people. He gets there so early with his feet, and then he's able to hold the ball. So a lot of middle returns, and then also when he's scrambling, when you're volleying up there, you want to play behind him a good amount, because then essentially his speed is working against him rather than for him, because a lot of times the court looks open, but he'll get to it. And not to say you don't run him around, but you don't want to be too predictable by going to the open court too much.
2-4. Point.
It looks like the patterns are starting to form here, and they're feeling each other out. I don't know if these two have played before in the past. Maybe one time, if I remember correctly.
You remember exactly correctly, and I'll give you that score line after this one.
Was it the tournament that Gabe won?
It was
California?
indeed 12-10 in the third.
Oof.
4-4.
That's a tight one.
Yes, so hope to get that as well when you have two players of this quality. Just missed it deep, did Garnett there.
I think Garnett played an out ball from my perspective there on the baseline. Pretty generous call on the baseline.
4-4.
Here's that nice backhand drop. And now we got the cat and mouse going, and
Point.
Garnett quickly says, I do not want to play cat and mouse right now.
Interesting.
5-4. Point.
We got a lot of new viewers watching on Prime Video. After this rally, we'll have you describe what cat and mouse is and means.
Point.
That looked just wide.
Yeah, off the paddle look wide. It's really hard to tell with the net strap being in the way here, but
7-4.
not really any complaint from Garnett. That's just such a beautiful shot there. It just opens up the court so well.
Oh,
wow.
my goodness. Gabe Joseph with a gorgeous ATP. And he has the backhand rolling. Usually Garnett's backhand dominates, but not so far in this one. Look at that.
Yeah, just the speed to get there. The ball's coming from the forehand side rather than the backhand side. I think that it could start to tilt in his direction.
Side out.
Saw the patented Gabe Joseph slide there, but came up a little short. So out of the timeout, Garnett does get the ball back.
4-8.
It is not a clay court for those of you watching. It is a hard court, but it may look like a clay court at times when Gabe Joseph's playing.
Point.
Just wide there. Are you a slider ever on the court? I don't know how to do it. I'd be out there with every ligament torn.
Yes, back in the day when I played singles, and certainly when I played tennis, I was known to slide on the hard court. If you get enough momentum going, it sort of happens.
Side out.
Also coming from plenty of clay court tennis, it just is sort of a natural thing. Once you have that momentum going, and it's hard not to do it once you started doing it, which it's murder on your joints longer term, but definitely when you're out there competing. There's the one I'm talking about where he returns to the forehand, and it's not that Gabe's forehand is bad, but it's going in at that angle to Garnett's backhand that he likes versus the cross-court one. It's a lot harder to cut it off early.
Get that out of here, says Gabe Joseph. Garnett laboring just a little bit there after that, and that's just a
8-5.
no-go zone on the volley there, way too high.
And again, returns to the backhand, cross-court.
Side out.
Gets away with it that time. But that's just not a pattern I would want to live doing if I'm Garnett, where you return down the line, which is probably most natural for him. But if you can get that ball across court, and yes, you do have to cover the line more and move across, but he's fast enough to do it. That's a great cover.
My goodness, I mean, it's like the guy's 6'6". He is not. That's not one of the taller players, but his lateral movement is disgusting.
Yep, and he can stop on a dime.
8-5.
That's a much better return. And he gets
Side
a
out.
mistake.
Folks, I can promise you there's not an earpiece to Connor Garnett coming from Colin John's microphone, but puts it in play there. We'll see if he continues to do that. Just wide. Then everybody shoots their head to the heavens like, how in the world could I miss that one?
Yeah, you were just trying to hit a backhand as hard as you could right on the line. How could you possibly? That's a good shot. That's not going to be good enough.
Ooh, he's staring at it. Yep.
I don't think he made it.
Heard Gabe say, thanks, Connor, and that's one of those. That's so hard to even call. You're on the move. It's a little behind you.
Point.
Yeah, he did miss it. I think Gabe was like, you just gave me a call. I feel like I should give you this call, but Connor knew he missed it.
Game point for Gabe Joseph right here, and gets another one wide. And Connor Garnett frustrated, chucks the semifinals, and Joseph ready to serve quickly here to start game two. Look at this dude cover the court. I mean, the ball is behind him, and then he's next to it, Colin. How in the world does he do that?
I guess sliding several feet in a hard court tends to help there, but man, that's a pretty good speed. And something like that turns into a tough shot if you're not disciplined with your feet to get yourself in position, because pulling the two-hander when it's away from your body is much more difficult than if you get behind it.
That angle, so pretty.
And there's the backhand cross, and that sets up his patterns. Garnett gets away with it. But again, that is definitely opportunity for Joseph on that.
0-0. Point.
And that's that little extra dip that Garnett gets on that backhand where it becomes a difficult volley, knowing that he's waiting to pounce on the next ball, and when it's below the level of the net, much tougher to control.
Side out.
It's wide. Nice immediate correction there to return to the forehand from Joseph. So winner of this one gets Ben Johns in the semis.
backhand cross, and that's going to be double.
I think he missed that wide.
He missed it wide.
Challenge it to me. Ball's out. You challenged me. Ball's out. Point.
Yeah. So what we have going on here is the appeal to the referee. He's saying it was wide.
Yeah, I think Joseph was asking if he could challenge it, and then he appealed to the ref, and the ref said it was out.
Yeah.
And then there was some discussion back and forth between the players, but no challenge.
I agree with Jim Price, who is the lead referee, with Anisha Smith and Steve Newkirk. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, clearly wide in the replay.
Side out. One. Side out.
All these cross-court backhand volleys.
Yep, and that's his favorite. He controls that really well with the left hand, and open court to work with on that one. Finally goes down the line. And
Side
he
out.
almost had that.
Boy, he's had two just juicy looks that Garnett has gotten away with.
Yep.
1-1.
Return forehand, and
Side out.
good things happen. The X's and O's, definitely in singles, they are very important, as well as the other events.
1-1.
Well, there it is again, same
Point.
pattern, go to the forehand. This time he gets a point for it.
And Garnett wants to go back 2 shots and challenge the serve, which was very close, and that's why he stayed back. I think he thought that was going wide.
Yeah.
2-1.
And he's staring at it, as you saw at the end of that replay. You got to just move on.
Point.
Very nice serve. Looked like it was just inside the line.
3-1.
When Joseph's rolling, he's going to play fast. Oh, that is ridiculous.
Wow. Back foot leaning backwards. That is a very tough shot to thread the needle on. But he's the sort of player where if he's playing confident and well, as you said, Dave, he just plays that much better. And return to the backhand. Oh, wow, that's some good speed to get there. And he gets to the kitchen. He's going to go nuts if he wins this point.
Oh, and one of the easier looks in the whole rally. Oh, man, he had a chance to be a Sports Center highlight there, but couldn't quite make the last one.
Smart return.
Side out.
And Garnett struggling on the forehand side. So guess what? Just like you hope the slot machine keeps spitting out coins, go to that same spot over and over.
4-1.
No reason to change it if it's working. And the Garnett returns continue to go in the direction of the backhand and also the direction of out of the court on that.
5-1.
It's just not the return.
Look at this chaos.
Oh, he's gonna get there. That's trouble.
Point.
I wish he hadn't called it short, even though I think it was the right call because the recovery was remarkable.
Yep.
That's a shot he usually makes, but it did not make it to the court. But look, he's sitting there waiting for it.
The reason I asked why they played before is because you do have some information on Gabe because you played him in that one match. So I'm just curious as to why Garnett's not targeting the forehand at least a little bit.
1-6.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you get in love with your own strengths.
Point.
And you're like, he's given me all these backhands. I just got to make them. But they are, as you've been saying, very difficult backhands.
Yes.
2-6.
He's going to get that too. Oh. And that is the entertainment value of Gabe Joseph right there. Timeout after a very scrambly point. what a get, but
Side out.
just a nice little half volley there from Joseph. That's why I always want to make him hit one more.
Yeah, that was very tricky actually in the end.
6-3.
We have seen that point play out about 30 times.
Point.
And that
Garnett
lands on
cannot
the line.
believe that another one hit the line. It seems like all of the shots have gone in the direction of Joseph whenever the line is
7-3.
I mean, the call is closed.
And he could have hit that one too. That serve catches the line.
Oh, it's the
Side out.
easiest one of the whole bunch that he missed there.
I think he thought, there's no way I'm going to get this out in the air, and then it floated, and he's like, oh, I'm all over this.
3-7. Point. Four, 7. Side out.
Another return just on the baseline.
I think somebody named Colin John said earlier today how important that return.
7-4.
Got to go for it, and we've been talking about it all day.
Side out.
So this is a little dangerous for Joseph, as he's had a lot of good looks to get closer to the finish line. And
4-7.
man, Garnett can rattle points off in a hurry if you don't.
Side out.
Definitely Garnett is still within striking distance, so you don't want to let him linger here and potentially start to run off some
Timeout
points at the
receiver,
end.
7-4, 1 minute.
About that, one of the most
7-4.
entertaining players on the women's side.
I think Joseph played an out ball.
Yeah, let's see if the pickleball gods clean it up, and as they often do, they did.
And you see more backhands for Joseph. He is going to like that. Again, the backhand. Cross court. And the speed's going to bounce
Side
over.
out.
That is just the pattern that Joseph likes to play.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the patterns, these are wildly in Gabe's favor, and that's why the scoreboard is what it is. I mean, that is not a replay of the 88 other times that exact point has taken place.
Yeah, and that's really what, on the opposite side, Garnett wants, is if you were hitting that same return,
8-4.
Right.
and Joseph were trying to pass down the line with the forehand, it would be going into Garnett's strength, which is the backhand, something like that. Now, that's not an easy get, folks.
No.
He made it look easy, but wow.
That had so much spin and junk going away from Joseph, and he almost got this in the other box on the ATP. Almost about 2/3 of the way there.
Oh, he's there.
Oh, rides the rail but stays on the Joseph side there, and drop volleys against Gabe Joseph are just inviting him to come get it.
4-9.
Yeah, he will almost always get it. And you can see that singles pickleball is not just
Side out.
a not physical sport. We'll just put it that way. Pickleball singles can be physically demanding, and it's great to see athletes like this get after it, run back and forth, and have great athletic points.
Yeah, it's just 20 by 44, and yet it hurts so much to play singles.
Side
And I
out.
think what a lot of people forget is that the ball doesn't have a lot of bounce to it. So if you take a sport like squash, where the ball has very little bounce to it, it's a smaller court than something like tennis. But squash, the average heart rate is much higher than when you're playing a tennis match. It's very physically demanding. So I sort of put pickleball not the same as squash, but you have to remember the ball doesn't bounce as high. So that makes it that much more physically demanding to get to it, get underneath it, and definitely works the legs.
5-9. Point.
Gabe definitely played an out ball there in the middle of that rally, and now again, Garnett creeping closer.
6-9. Point.
7-9.
See if he
Joseph
burns
looks
his time
over
out.
at the
Doesn't look like he's
couch.
gonna do it.
Chooses
7-9.
not to do it.
Side out.
And I think all these shots that have been so close to the line, you know, Garnett gave him the benefit of the doubt there. It was really tight.
9-7.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. But it seems like all the shots are catching the line for Joseph.
Side out.
Not his best backhand there. He had a good look to get to 10, and then the pressure changes dramatically.
7-9.
Oh, great
Side
get.
out.
Just to make him play one more shot there.
9-7, 1
Now
minute.
he's taking the cover.
Resume from Jack Sock. So get it all at Pickleball Central.
Side out.
Oh, so he talked it over on the couch with the coach/therapists and gets his favorite backhand and
7-9.
pulls it just a little bit wide. And that just feels like a replay.
I mean, how many
Point.
times, Connor?
And he is having a chat with himself over there.
Yeah. Pointing, I mean, that is such, stay with that. I mean, that, you want to talk about having a conversation with your own personal therapist.
9-7.
We just saw it right there.
Side out.
Just deep, and he has been stuck at 9 for a while here, so this is a
7-9.
huge opportunity for Garnett to steal game 2.
Point.
It's a great backhand on the run, curling it from the outside of the court in.
8-9.
And
Side
the
out.
steal point.
Okay, big running out of
9-8.
opportunities here. At some point, Garnett's going to fire.
Side out.
He's getting good looks at these. That one finally went to the forehand, but he was well behind that, had a good look, had the opening, pulls it wide again.
8-9. Side out.
Let's see if Joseph changes anything on this one. Maybe he lines up a little bit wider,
Yeah,
goes for a
take
little bit more on
something
the
off
serve.
it, yeah.
Something.
9-8. Side out.
Goes for the same shot.
Same shot is missed again.
This is where it really gets interesting to me
8-9.
mentally. The game within the game. Garnett moves around the forehand to find his favorite backhand.
Oh, and
Point.
pushes another 2-y wide. You hear Joseph scream focus. So 9-9 game 2. Garnett looked like it was
9-9.
over, and now he's all the way even.
That's the danger of letting somebody hang around.
And
You start to
now,
play a couple sloppy points and they hit a couple good ones, and
10-9.
now game point the other way. Ooh.
Side out.
oh my goodness, sat on the net and then barely fell over. Gabe trying to get focused.
9-10.
Lots of chatter to themselves here.
Side out.
Good handle off the tape there from Garnett.
Timeout, server.
Joseph is a
10-9,
player
1 minute.
that
For Garnett to close game number 2.
Point.
Oh, and
Game
he gets a
11-9.
gift and
Connor
gets it
Garnett
done. In the broadcast,
0-0.
we definitely want to do that. So here we go. Game 3 will switch ends at 6. And that is wicked from Connor Garnett on the run. And boy, confidence is everything.
Yep. That is definitely an
1-0.
ominous start if you're looking at this from Gabe Joseph's perspective.
Point.
And the backhand down the line just keeps sliding about an, it's anywhere from half an
2-0.
inch to 3 inches wide.
Point.
And this is what I talked about, where the more frustrated Joseph gets, the worse he plays. So if you're Garnett, you're really loving this for a
3-0.
couple reasons. You're playing better, but Joseph's playing a whole lot worse.
Side out.
It doesn't mean he's still not very dangerous, because he could catch fire at any time, but you really want to put the pedal to the metal right now if you're Garnett.
0-3. Point.
That's what you definitely didn't want to do, is you don't want to cool his frustration with your missed returns.
Point.
Pretty.
And that is his favorite. Loves that backhand cross court, and he controls it very well.
Especially if he's stepping inside the baseline. That's just asking for it.
Side out.
You don't usually see bad footwork from Joseph, but we did there.
Yeah, reaching for that one, and just got a little too much,
3-2.
a little too army.
Wow.
Point.
2 gorgeous backhands, the first point and now the 4th point from Connor Garnett. Just absolutely what he is known for.
Yep, that's his brand of pickleball, and as far as he's concerned, everything is back on track and looking a whole lot better.
Point.
And now a forehand that basically betrayed him for a game and to 9 is back as well, and he is now the one serving in a hurry.
Side out.
Looks like it took a pretty funny bounce. Didn't seem to check up correctly at all.
So it is important for Joseph, just from mentality, to switch with a few more points here.
Side out.
Oh no. All that back and forth movement, and the easiest one of the group he does not make. And he's had a couple of chances to really get the energy flipped by winning a rally like that. Couldn't get it done.
Yeah, if he wins that, I feel like he's in a whole different mindset where he feels like he's on the comeback and positive energy. But now you look at, you have the side switch. Joseph's definitely plenty good enough to come back from 6-2.
Point.
There we go. That'll get some positive energy.
Yeah, so nice forehand there. And sometimes just an end break, a different look.
3-6. Side out.
And that's the shot that he's not hit quite well enough down the stretch.
Yeah, just not staying true to it. He's leaning back a little bit, and then the paddle face is going to leave it wide every time, and it keeps happening.
Side out.
Not going for a couple lobs when he gets in that cat and mouse, so I'm not sure if that's a confidence thing or he sees an opening, but he clearly does not want to play cat and mouse up to this point with Joseph too much.
Side out.
And that's one you'd expect Joseph to just hit a rifle. Tried to drop it and come in, hoping Garnett might throw another lob up.
Point.
And quite frankly, the net cords have been wildly in Joseph's favor, so that one helps even it out a little bit, not to that man's pleasure, of course. That was a melt. My goodness. Okay.
3-7.
I like that shot on the 3rd. Good shot selection. Went to the backhand drop, which he hasn't been driving quite as accurately. If you can get it back on the rails with a few drops and set things up, things could start to go better. You can see he prefers that backhand. Just moves around it and
Side out.
finally didn't leave it wide, but didn't put enough on it to get it past Garnett.
So then you get to the point where you're just pushing it into an area. I mean, this is not a typical two-handed backhand from Joseph coming up this one right here. Just sort of lollipopped it in the right direction, but Garnett moves way too well to let that happen.
It's good.
Side out. You have 2 timeouts.
Joseph checking in on the timeout counter.
4-7.
Plenty left.
That's a nice shot.
Point.
So good.
Just the viciousness of that roll.
Yeah, I think the difference maker for him on that shot is how quickly he gets it on the ground. Still hitting a drop. It's not like it's a drive, but he controls it well when he hits it that hard. This one. Yep.
Side out. Timeout server.
I
Didn't
see
quite
your
get the
angle
second
and
hand.
raise you. That was a great volley from Garnett.
Whose strategy remains the right strategy.
Side out.
And same thing here. Garnett has the lead, similar to what Joseph did. Do you want to let him hang around and see if he gets hot at the end? I don't think he
No,
wants
you do
that.
not if you're cheering for him.
That's a great jab. Oh, he's going to get that.
Oh my goodness,
wow.
and Gabe Joseph finally wins one of these crazy track down points, and what a time to do it, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to feel really good about himself after that.
6-7.
I mean, so many great gets, and Garnett went to the drop shot again. That's trouble against Joseph.
Side out.
Can't stack a couple, though. That was a great return under pressure from Garnett.
Yeah, Garnett's out of timeouts now, right?
Believe so.
It looks like he's
7-6.
laboring a little bit physically. It is pretty hot out there. So we'll see if that comes into play here at the end. Ooh, he did not think that was going cross court.
Side
Wow.
out.
He gets the short ball and overhits it by a mile. Because Joseph was on the scramble to the forehand, thinking the ball is going open court, and then Garnett got it behind him cross.
Side out.
Too good with the short volley, and again, the backhand down the line is either wide, too high, or not enough pace. Just isn't there.
Yep.
7-6.
The cross court one has been more dependable for sure.
Oh,
On
man.
another net cord.
So points 7 and 8 for Garnett are net skitters.
8-6.
Just a lollipop, slow
Side out.
serve.
You got pretty good purchase on the return there. Like, the slower serves may not look like they hurt you, but when you can get that little extra on the return and still get forward in good position, it does count.
That's pretty.
Nice shot.
Finally got the two-handed backhand down the line low. And then the footwork. Man, watch the footwork on this forehand.
Yeah, it looks to me like Garnett has added a little bit of air to his returns of serve,
7-8.
giving him a little bit more time to get settled into the line. That one's a little bit more flat.
Side out.
Just one at a time to the finish line here.
8-7. Point. Nine, 7. Point.
And we are to match point for Connor Garnett.
Timeout server 10-7, 1 minute.
Garnett played, so he would love
Time
to
in.
finalize this right
10-7.
here. Here we go, match point. And the patented Connor Garnett running two-handed backhand volley gets it done.